backstage. Would you spell it for me? I don't want to mispronounce this. Should be 2 O's in there. Dr. Poole from Sikeston, Missouri, which is 30 miles down the road from where I grew up, Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Doctor, welcome to the program. Nice to have you here.
Thank you, Rush. It's an honor to speak to you.
Appreciate that.
I'm, like you said, I'm a doctor, board certified in OBGYN, born and raised here in Sikeston, and have practiced here since 1983.
That means you know the prominent Montgomery family very well.
Very well.
Yes.
They're friends of ours. And I went to the town hall meeting at Poplar Bluff, and I just want to say that you would be proud of how the people acted.
You know, so I'm glad you said that, Doctor, because I mentioned yesterday that I'm proud of the American people showing up at the Spectre Town Hall and wherever they're happening. I'll bet I would have been proud. Was McCaskill there in Poplar Bluff?
Yes, she was.
Okay.
And 2 words to describe the crowd, which was mostly against the health care reform bill, would be passionate and frustrated. Many of us came there prepared to talk about the proposed bill, the one that they tried to hammer through before the August recess, and I even took the whole bill with me, and I've read the whole bill, and those things that you spoke about a few minutes ago are all in there. We were not allowed to raise our hand to ask a question or shout out, even though obviously people did shout out anyway. They drew questions from a basket, but one of the questions that she was asked was, you know, about House Bill 3200, those things that you were just talking about. And her response when they asked if she had read these was not a yes or no. It was first, those things are not in there. They're all distortions, misrepresentations.
Wait, Doctor, let me stop you here just a second. You're saying a woman got up and asked Senator McCaskill with a copy of the bill, they read some of the things, have you read this? And McCaskill said those are not in the bill.
That's exactly right.
Now, and that those are lies and distortions.
Exactly. She said there were 5 bills at the present time, and she held up her laptop and said, this is the bill that just came out of Senate committee, and I have read all of this. And I can promise you that none of those things are in it, and that none of those things are in the bills that have been proposed so far.
Now, one thing, though, she's got an out here. That woman held up the House bill. That's the only bill anybody can possibly print out, and Claire McCaskill's not in the House. She's in the Senate. So she can say, that's not in the bill, because she's a senator. There are 4 bills in the Senate, 5 total with the one in the House. And the one she held up is a Senate bill, and she can tell us all day long that what's in the House bill isn't in the Senate bill because we don't know. We haven't seen it yet.
That's exactly right. And one of the next questioners got up and asked, or said, we came here prepared to talk to you about the bill that was almost pushed through before the August recess, and now you're telling us about one that none of us have read, and none of us can talk to you about, so how can we have a discussion? And she said, well, I can only tell you that this is the one that I've read, and it has none of those things in it. And by the way, at Arlen Specter's thing yesterday, when he was asked about a Senate bill, he said there was none, that there was not a Senate bill.
Well, there isn't technically. There are 4 committees that are working on putting together a bill, and those 4 committees, that's where they've been having trouble in one of the committees with 3 Republicans coming up with bipartisan consensus. And they just were unable to get one bill out of those 4 committees done before the August recess. The House was able to, but they weren't able to force the vote. But let's take McCaskill at her word here. She may be talking about one bill that she may not know what's in the other 3 in the Senate, but it doesn't matter, Doctor, because once the Senate gets its bill, and I'm going to tell you, I have seen excerpts of what's in the Kennedy version of the bill, and it's as bad as what's in the House bill.
I'm sure it is.
But once this happens, then whatever the final product in the Senate is, they go to a conference with the people in the House. And the people in the House, that's Pelosi and Waxman, are not just going to sit there and let the Senate tear their bill up. So Senator McCaskill took the easy way out in refusing to address her constituents' concerns about the only bill they've read yesterday and tell them, no, that is not in the bill. She ducked it. She ducked the issue then.
Exactly, and the frustration comes from that we can't seem to be able to read what they keep talking about. And when the president came on yesterday and kept saying, my plan and my proposal has this in it, nobody can read that.
Well, he doesn't have one. He hasn't even written one.
Because it's not written down anywhere.
No, he doesn't have a plan.
And for doctors in particular, it's frustrating. We hear him say things like yesterday, and he's done this before, he said his proposal will make insurance companies pay for mammograms and colonoscopies, not colonoscopies, and that will help us find breast cancer and prostate cancer early. And you would think with all his advisors, some of whom are doctors, including Rahm Emanuel's brother, somebody would tell him that colonoscopies don't find prostate cancer. That's not what it's for. And it's frustrating.
You dare to challenge our dear leader on the most listened to media program today of its kind. And you've identified yourself by name. You, sir, are very brave.
I'm on the list, I'm sure.
Yes.
But it's frustrating when we're told that those of us whoever us is, who made the mess, need to stop talking and get out of the way where he can clean it up. I know he's not a doctor, but he is the president, and he has lots of advisors. And if he's going to stand up and tell us that he is going to fix health care, he at least needs to have his facts together, and he just does not seem to do that.
It isn't about facts, Doctor. If I may be so bold, with the left, facts are simply things used by losers. Words are the tools.
Well, we have a class site for my high school class, and there are conservatives and liberals both on it. And after I read the bill, I sent an email to everybody saying that I had read House Bill 3200 and that, I pointed out these things that you just pointed out. And one of my very good friends, who's a liberal, sent back and said I had the conservative version of the bill. So
I don't know. That's what's frustrating when you're up against otherwise intelligent people who just close the world off to themselves.
Right.
For whatever reason. Well, I don't blame you for being frustrated. I'm glad for the report on Senator McCaskill, because she knew that sounds like a strategery to avoid anything and yet be able to say she was being totally honest in her answers.
And like you've said before, it's changed from what it was originally planned to be, a way to give health care to everyone, to a direct attack on the insurance companies and making the insurance companies the enemies of all.
Doctor, it's never been about health care for all. If they wanted health insurance for all, it could take some of the stimulus money and done it. It's not about health insurance for even after. The Washington Post even ran the numbers, Doctor, in a chart last week. Even after 10 years, if the House bill is signed into law as is, after 10 years, still 17 million Americans uninsured.
Exactly.
After 10 years.
Right.
House in the Senate bill, 36 million uninsured after 10, if they're passed in their current form. This is not about insuring everybody. It's not about anything of the sort. And this is not about health care. This is strictly about remaking the fundamental building block structure of this country. We'll be back. Stay with us.
The state control.